Hey everybody, Day Trader Rockstar here, and today's video is going to be a video discussing using the Thunderbird and the Supersignal scripts, the RockBot scripts, to trade Bitcoin or anything associated with Bitcoin kind of cryptos in the crypto space. I want to show you how to set it up, how to adjust the contract size, also how to adjust the value to make it match properly, because this is originally set up for ticks with the NinjaTrader, and ticks are a little bit different from what Bitcoin trades under. And remember, the signal here is based off of the methodology that I teach here at Day Trading Radio. That's been developed over 20 years, and the core foundations based off of George Lane's stochastic divergence. The stochastics and how we get divergences in those, and I have adjusted and added to the and built out my method by adding other stochastic bands to tighten up and give us full cycles of multiple time frames. I won't go into the whole methodology right here, because this is going to be a focus video on just how to get the scripts running on like your Bitcoin chart if you're using the NinjaTrader scripts. Now, the NinjaTrader scripts, these are called the RockBot scripts. Again, I built them out to identify the strategy, identify the setups that we're looking for to trade. The criteria has to be met. Basically, I programmed it in so when the criteria is met, it will automatically take a trade. You don't have to have it take a trade. It doesn't have to be live. It could be on a sim account. I kind of recommend people just letting the bot run it, identify the setups for you, and then you analyze the trades around there, because every trade is a unique trade in itself based on the current direction, current news, the time frame. There's so many other things that go into not just taking a blind trade. Now, we know how well the divergences work, so we're not going to stray far from that. Just remember, this is not an exact science, even though the setup I want to show you today, or I'll show you a couple of different ones. And again, this is the NinjaTrader platform. And a lot of people get the NinjaTrader platform by signing up with prop accounts. And we work with two prop accounts, the Bullinox and the Apex prop accounts. So if you sign up with that, you can get a NinjaTrader platform. They give you the license code as part of the package. So you get the license code, and you're able to use and actually run the bots on that. So if you're not familiar with NinjaTrader, it's a good way to start with that. I'll put the current coupons in the description of the video if you want the discounts for the things. I think until the end of the month, they always change, but right now, if you get this early before the July 31st, there is a 91% coupon for the Bullinox. It's DTR91, and that brings your account down, the 50K account, just to $15.50. It's really a good one. All right, so if you have that, and that's just kind of getting you set up on it. If you do have that, or you're going to have a membership here at Day Trading Radio, or have the bots available to you. You can get them also on Patreon, patreon.com/Day Trading Radio. You'll see the bot tier. Or if you're a paying subscriber to Day Trading Radio, there's a package that includes all the bots. And the bots that you get, there's many of them. On my screen right here, you're not going to have all these, because these are my ones that I've built out and then upgraded. So I just haven't cleaned it up. So there's a lot of stuff here that you don't even look at. It's just, these are bots in progress, everything like that. But I'll show you the ones you're going to have, and the most important ones. So you have the quad rotation. So let's go with our ultimate setup. And when we look at the ultimate setups, that we work with four bands that's what we call the quads. The four bands of stochastics, 9-3, 14-3, 44, and 60-10. And all these represent different time frames if we look at the 1 minute time frame. The 9-3 and the 14-3, very similar. These are a benchmark. That's what the original kind of gangster, I call it. The George Lane used the 9-3 and 14-3 and to change those. I added the 44 and the 60-10, and those are based off of, analyze it and calculating what our 5-minute time frame is based on how many candles the 1 minute gives us, and then dividing that and adding some other things. And then there's also something else into the formula that kind of makes us so that we don't get embedded, or that the market doesn't really just kind of get you stuck in a position and kind of rotate all the way down, which could happen if the market triggers but never moves back up. Every time we come down to a quad rotation, we tend to get a bounce, but there will be those situations when there's a reason why you're getting all oversold down here, and it might be news, and you have to be part of that. That's why I highly recommend never really running the bot unattended, because you don't know what's triggering the bot. Is it news? If it is news to the downside, the bounces might not hit your profit area. You might stop out, you might trigger again, stop out. So you have to understand, if you're trading in news, there's more volatility, you have to set different things. A lot to go into this, but it's not that hard. So you're going to use the Supersignal Quad 1v1, all right? And that is my pride and joy. That's the Supersignal. You could go long and short. This is what it looks like on the screen right here. This is, you pull it down when you have your strategies, and you download your strategies from the site, or you sign up and you have your strategies. They'll populate in your strategy section, and you can just grab whatever you want and pull it down here, and then you have the parameters, and you want to set the parameters. So right now you're going to have the Supersignal Quad. Now that's the Supersignal Quad. It means it has to have a divergence and a quad rotation, and also it could be a long or a short. So you have to make sure you click on long here. I change the color because I like green being long, red being short. So I just do it. You could make it whatever color you want. You could keep the debug log on to see if there's any issues. But this is the important part. Now, remember, we run this on. You can run it on anything. Stocks. It's programmed for futures. When I first originally did this, and I started programming this out, this was based off of ticks, so I had to put the hard code in on, stop loss, how many ticks this, how many ticks that. So it doesn't match on things that are not using ticks, but I want to show you how to get by that, and how it's kind of it works either way, because the divergence and the quad rotation will work on any trading vehicle. It'll work on anything that you want, has a market to it, basically. Buying and selling and patterns and trends and stuff. We'll be able to measure the momentum, and that's what the stochastics are doing, is measuring the momentum of the thing. But we're also measuring momentum and comparing it to price, and we're able to identify when that momentum has shifted even before the price has shifted, and that's our true signal. And then we get these big moves. So overall, these are what the scripts are about. You can apply them on anything. And this is for people out there who like to trade the... So I'm going to apply it. Actually, this is on the MES. But what we're going to do here is I want to move this over to the Bitcoin chart. Well, actually, let's see. We'll go to that in a second. Let me see. Do I want to... well, let's go to the Bitcoin chart. We'll show you the MES also after. All right, so let's go back here. So, no, we're not going to go to MS. We're going to go to Bitcoin, because I already have this set up for Bitcoin. Apologize for my confusion. So, typically, this is taking profits contract 1. Like usually it's 5, whatever you want your first contract size. And I might not be doing the best way of explaining this. I have it all written out. It's just take profit contract 1 means your first target that you put in a bunch of parameters here to take profits at a certain level, then another level, and then you could have multiple levels, the stops. You could have a trailing stop. Targets, multiple targets above us. So this is target number 1, and how many contracts you want to have being taken off. Now, this could be 1. You could just trade with 1 contract and just make it 1 and done. Or it could be 2. It could be part of many other contracts. So we're going to say 2. Typically, I start off with 5 contracts. So I usually split it up. Profit area, take profits, 2 contracts. And where is it going to come out? What's the value? Where are we going to take this off? Now, I have 5,000. What does 5,000 mean? Well, typically it's ticks, right? And if I put down 4 there, it'll be 1 point. 4 ticks equal a point. But in this case, we're trading Bitcoin, and they don't work with ticks. It works on dollar amounts, and every penny is a penny and everything. So we're going to change this and you're going to consider a tick as a penny, all right? So when you put down your value, you're going to say 5,000 pennies would be $50. All right, 5,000 pennies would be $50. I think that's right, right? I've never counted 5,000 pennies, but you know, 100. Take 100 off. That's 2 candles. Yeah, $50. So that's what you would put down 5,000 there, and then take profit contract 2. Contract the second area. Contract 2. Don't get confused. Meaning it's 2 contracts, but second profit zone. All right, second profit zone. How many contracts are you taking off? So I say I want to take off another 2. And what is that level going to be? Well, it's going to be at 10,000 pennies, which will be $100. So the first target is $50. Second target is $100. We'll leave that at that. 2 comes off after that. Now there's take profit 3. There's 1 left. And I just left it. Now you could put 0 there, and you'll be out of the trade if you hit that. Or you could put as many there. You could put 1, 2. You could put 10. Whatever you could put, whatever you want. Make sure you could, you have the ability to trade that. But I always put 1 there, because the 1 that's left out there, and you're trading, you have that 1 contract still on, has the potential to run. And when you follow these things up, you're going to set up your trailing stops here. So if you want to enable a trailing stop, you can just keep it at the standard. Here, my loss, well, actually, let's go back here. Stop loss type. Typically, when we're doing divergences, I put a signal bar low in. But with the Bitcoin, I tend to like ticks. And I'm going to put that at 10,000 ticks, which is $100 stop loss. $100 stop loss. So basically, we have $50 first target, $100 second target, $100 original stop loss. And now here we're going to enable, you check that if you want to enable that, you enable that, trailing stop. When is it going to start? Your trailing stop is going to start after 5,000 ticks or $50 higher. So basically, if we're taking profits here at 5,000, that's going up to 5,000. That takes profit. This automatically starts a trailing stop at 5,000. Now I could put this, I could make this down here. All right, so it automatically now launches a trailing stop. All right, this got taken out after 5,000 ticks or 5,000 pennies or $50. The start of the trailing stop triggers, and whatever's down here is how far we follow the price. So in this case, it's 20,000. So I'm following the price by $200, giving it a little room because I like the quad rotation enough to kind of give it some room to really work its way up. I don't want to get, if we could make this 5,000. If I made this 5,000, this will what would be called a break-even stop loss. I mean, if we hit the first target up here, this triggers at the same time, and then it puts a trailing stop 5,000 or $50 underneath the current price, which would be where we just took profits. So basically, if it went back down there, you wouldn't lose anything. That's break even. So that's called a break even. But I like to have a little bit more room. So I want to keep it, what did I say, 20,000? I think I said 20,000. It's $200. I want to give it some room. All right, and then that's that. So now everything else is set. We're going to enable it. Now remember, you could do this multiple time frames too. So I'm just going to show you how you apply it. So now let's make sure it applied. We're on the Sim Crypto. I just put it on a Sim account here, crypto Sim account, just to do some testing on it today. Let me make sure I hit the enable button. It doesn't look like I hit the enable button. I didn't. Right here. You have to hit this button right here and apply it. And then it should all gray out. And you should say something here saying connecting. But do I see anything here? I think it connected. Should be on now. Let's see. Where is it? I'm wondering what's going on, and I didn't change the symbol back. So let's put the symbol now to BTC USD. Now, You could also put the symbol to future Bitcoin futures, micro Bitcoin, the MBT, August contract. You could do that also. So let's actually do that. Let's put this on this. It's calculated, and I put it on a 3-minute time frame. But we'll start it off on the 1-minute time frame and see if there's any triggers. I'm doing this live with you for the first time, so all right. So here we go. Here's our first. We scroll back. Let me see. Is that the first one? Back, yeah. So what I like about the quad rotation, I mean, the simple thing is that we have all 4 stochastics pointing down. Now you'll notice when I'm on the show and we're discussing our high probability zones that I wait for this to get under the 20. Now I have to actually have some internal formulas that I use to kind of make sure that we don't get run over as much as you could be on these. So I'm dealing with a slope of each one of these on different time frames. So I'm looking at the first period versus the last 2 periods. And this one I think I'm looking at the first period versus the last period, and so forth, and then waiting for the slope to turn. There's a little angle there, and I'm just trying to get a little momentum before the trigger happens. In some cases, you don't want to get down into a situation and you're not getting that positive move up here. So I think that's really key. That helps a lot. And that you can see it entered, it took profits 1, it took profits 2, and it kind of just went all the way up here until it kind of came down, and that probably is a $200 stop move right there from here, 730 to 200 to whatever this was. And the trailing stop came up and got it probably from up here. So yeah, 200. It was 200 from up at the highs, because it's going to follow it up. It's going to follow it up by $200. It's not going to go down. It's not going to pull back with us. So if it does eventually come down off the high here, it'll trigger out. But that's fine. That's what it's supposed to do. And let's take a look. This is on the 1-minute time frame. Now, here we have a take first profit, and then it kind of went sideways. It dropped and then took off again. First profit was taken. Second, then a stop loss came in. I don't know what the volatility there was. Right around 9:30. Again, know where you're trading. We don't usually trade the bots at the open because the market gets there's a lot of things going on here. Here's a nice little divergence. You can actually see the visual divergence on this. You have this nice little channel line, and then you have this low, and that lower low right there, and that low and that higher low. And we're underneath the 20 here, and everything looks good for a little quad there. And it got first profit, second profit, and then the stop loss came up and caught it. But overall, good. Now, you'll notice that I always say take your profits. I like to take them off. I like to get this set up and take them on the first rotation, so I don't have to deal with the pullback. So the market loves the pullback. You see that every pop comes with a pullback. Every pop comes with, especially if you're in a downtrending market. So it'd be very, I'm saying very, there's an argument for taking all your profits, because the setups will be good. You'll probably get something from them. Very rarely they just collapse, but again, that does happen on occasion. But we have to think about that as odds, and this is not the perfect science. It's not an exact science. It's not, there is things that are going to be very choppy and little news items. But when we zoom out and we look at what the quad rotation does for us and what a divergence, I mean, the writings on, this is it right here. How did we pick that spot, Johnny? How did you get this spot to come in here? Well, very close to the lows. It even got stopped out here. It probably popped. Let me see where that is there. I don't know if there's a candle underneath that. It might have been a candle, a crazy candle up here. And this range here might have been a little bit bigger than the range that we had. Let's see, 11,000, 115,263. I have a feeling there was a high up here. I can't really tell because of the yellow thing. But this was actually a good divergence, and it puts you in line for this. You know, you have that higher low, and that's really something you want to be alerted to. You want to be alerted to that. Even if there's a little chop there, that comes to the parameters. If we put a divergence low in there, it may be, well, it actually would have stopped that out too because the divergence low came out and took out. But I would have a physical, you know, give this time. If you're oversold and you have a divergence, this is the move you're going to get. When you're dealing with the bot, you could come down and grab you and then rip. So you got to give it some room to run. All right, look at these things. Look at the and then analyzing, letting it do its. You're letting it do its thing. All right, it's triggering, and when it triggers, it's going to automatically have your orders up on the screen. You're going to be able to manage those. You can move your stop, grab it, and move your stop up. Follow it up manually. Here, I would be like, you know, you become an expert at what you do. You know, if you follow Bitcoin and you become an realize, you know, wrap yourself around it, study the charts. All these things give us the same. This is why our method is it's perfect. I mean, it's as perfect as it's going to get. You know, all these things all add up. It's all about the 1, 2, 3 channel. It's about the coil. It's about the quad coil. This is a quad coil lower trend line, you know, absolute. And it was a divergence because this wouldn't trigger without a divergence. Sometimes these divergences are hard to see because they're mathematical. They're not that high lip, you know, the lip gives you that lip and pushes back up. But we know this is key. This is what we call a quad coil. The quad, all 4 stochastics, but the 9-3 coils down with a series of 4 to 5 rotations down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And right when you get down to the 4th and 5th here, that's when everything gets compressed and you usually explode on everything. Now, just as good to get that, you know, this will get you in fast and it'll take you out, you know, it'll get you in and get you out. Look at this. That's amazing. Now, this is on the 1 minute time frame. 1 minute time frame. So I have this, remember what I have it down to like $50 first profit, $100 second profit, $200 trailing stop. But the odds are you're going to get the pops because you have the quads and you have the divergences. There will be times when it does get a little choppy. But the important part is you can put those numbers in. You know, again, I'll show you the parameters that I'm using. Let me go back here because I want to show you examples of maybe something not not working. But all these really do get bounces good because we're set up. We're all set up down there. And you get these moves, take profits, come in pretty fast. These are easy $50 trades. I mean, a little bit the same thing. I have on the Trading View, I have the same script. But in Trading View, you could click on a let me see if I can bring that up. I wonder if I can bring this up. I wonder if I can bring up Bitcoin and trade it. Let me see if I can fix that. All right, so you have to bear with me. I just started the Trading View. I put on Bitcoin, CME, futures. I don't know if this is the futures. I just put it on fast. I just wanted to see what the signals look like. And what time frame is this on? This is on the daily. All right, so it's not even, this is on the daily, which is kind of interesting too. Let's take it off the daily. But again, it will announce the daily stochastics, the daily divergences also. So let's put it on the 5 minute. Well, let's put it on the 1 minute time frame. Probably get real busy on that. No trade, no data on the 1 minute. Let me see. Let me go to the 5 minute. I don't know what this reads down here. So, the other thing is that when you set these up, you have to have enough margin. You have to be able to. Let's take a look at this. It might not give you settings, source code. Let's go here. order size, initial capital, because you're dealing with a big thing here. So, and you're dealing with a lot of order size 1 input. So it's 5. I don't even think I could get 5. So remember, and this is all set up, trailing stop, 8 ticks and stuff. This is the situation we don't want to have. But let's see how we. I want an initial capital up here. We'll just give it a lot. There you go. What is this? 5 minute. All right, sorry about that. The Bitcoin on the trading view. And what I'm doing is I'm activating the Supersignal Quad 23, which you have. Go to your settings. And now what I have on here is what I call an open-ended trade. There's no profit, no first target, no second target, no lots or anything. Pretty much, basically, whatever your lot is, how much you're getting in. But you could, you know, what you're going to do is you're going to experiment with this. You're going to put maybe 3 in there and take some profits off up here. Right now, I just have a trailing start ticks and a trailing stop ticks. 50, it starts after 50 and follows it up by 15. Now I have it on the safety net. Watch what happens. I'm just running this now, and this is on the, again, this is also going to be important that I think the 1 minute is going to be too choppy. The 5 minute, whenever you go out in time with the divergence signals, you have longer time in the trade, which is always usually positive. As we look here in the background, you can see, because this is not set up, it's not set up for Bitcoin versus the ticks and the price. I think we could change that in the properties and change this over to the commission, verify price, pyramid, and order size. I think order size you could go to, we could even just go to a USD, how much you want to put in versus quality, but that's not going to help our thing. Well, let's just run it like this. Just gonna, what I want to really do show you is the signals. Down here it says 158, again 158 trades, and the parameters again. I kind of skirted over those real fast. It's really nothing. Stop loss ticks doesn't matter because this is set to signal bar low. The only time you don't care about that. I think it's default 1. Only time you're going to use signal bar or the stop loss ticks is if you move this to ticks. And I'll give you an example of that. So let's put in 100 here, and then we're going to switch this, and this might just blow up the whole thing. All right. Wow. Made us more money. Made us more. Stop making it. All right. Let's go back here. I like this because it's 81% profitable trades, a profit factor of 2, 7,000. But again, 158 trades, and this is just going to show you. And this is also on the safety net. So the safety net, what this is doing is taking this off. This is the whole reason I wanted to show you this, is because it's going to actually either get you out with a trailing stop, or if it goes too far, it's going to get you out with a safety net. Now I don't think this is going to matter too much. Let's just turn it off and see what the difference is. No, it didn't really make a difference. There was about, yeah, a little better. It went from 7,000 to 8,000. Oh, with the safety net off, gave it a little bit more room to run. That's what it typically happens. And even there was some downside here also. But generally, you're going to see that the dips and the triggers and the quads, they work great on everything. Now, just to let you know, you could run this. I want to get back to the Ninja Trader and kind of show you this. So this is on the 1 minute time frame. Now I like the 5 minute. I like the 3 minute. I like the 5 minute. You just switch over to the 3 minute. All right. Here was actually a nice coil. And even though we moved a little bit lower, I think we're moving a little lower because of our parameters are set a signal bar low, or did we put this down to lost stop target? Yeah, we did. Text. All right, no, we're good. Aha. Oh, you know what? I was going to look at the 1 minute time frame. Let's go back out to the 1 minute. We'll start with the 1 minute. There we go. So nice pop, nice pullback, quad rotation, pop, divergence. Going back out, not bad. I love these type of channels. Just kind of review. When we see this type of channel in anything, we identify it and we know that our trade is going to be on the lower part of the channel, or at least inside the channel, and that's when you're going to get your quads. So this would be actually a trade right here. Just because of all these are lining up like that. It's just amazing. So it would be a line right here, and this would be this candle, and this would be your trade up to the upside. Even though it wasn't a divergence, that is what we call a quad channel. Quad channel. Preferably like to have it on the lower trend line, which just was 2, and you got that bounce. It came back down, the rotation. Again, these are divergences. There's a nice little divergence here. You can see it. It had a little pop. Take profits, then it kind of drifted back here. This is really nice. Nice divergence, nice pop out of that channel. Nice divergence here. Nice move up. There's the coil. Look at these. Yeah, these are really nice. This is all on the BTC. Let's see if we can see that 5 minute time frame on this. As we scroll back, every time just watch that 60-10 on the bottom. Once that gets down underneath that 20 line, which is that blue line right here, we can make that yellow. Once it gets down there, we're probably pretty close to a divergence, and that's what we, that's our go-to trade. Any type of lower low with a quad rotation and a little higher high, and you should get that trigger. And these are going to be some of the bigger moves that you're going to see. So always looking at the pullbacks. Again, this is mostly focused on the Bitcoin. I just want to show you how to set up and you put your profits in when you want your profits. Using the penny method instead of the tick method. And again, just to review that one more time, we go to this quad. Let me X that off here. Apply. Remember, take profits. 2 contracts. Again, you could do whatever you want. You could change this up. It's more about identifying the setups. Maybe you're not going to trade Bitcoin like this. You're not going to trade big coins, like 1 coin, 2 coin, whatever. But you can trade the Bitcoin futures using this. So you have the micro Bitcoin. I think it's the MBT, the micro Bitcoin futures. Let me double check that. And let's see. You should get basically the same setups. In that case, I think you can. Let's take a look at the MBT August 25. Yeah. I don't know if there's going to be any setups here. Or do I have to I might have to redo it. Retrigger it. wonder if it's maybe the data is not available for my. No, I have the data here. I'm not seeing any signals on there. There must be something that. Oh, there is one. Oh, you know what? It's probably stuck in a trade. It's probably still in the trade. Because it's 5,000. We probably don't need that. Let me see if I can fix this. That was the problem. Because now we could put that in. Look what I put in now. I just tested it here. Let's apply that. So let's apply this thing here. We're going to put in take profits 2, 20. The first value is going to be 20. Take profits second area, 2 more contracts at 40. We're going to call these ticks right now. Take profit contract the last one, which would be 1, and that's going to be followed by the trailing stop, which is going to start at 20 and followed up by 40. Let's activate it. And now you can actually see this is, let's see if it activates. Now this is going to be the futures. Oh yeah, look at this. All right. Looks like I just wanted to see what I got in here. So all right. So 116,190. 116,000. I can't read that. Is that 310? Yeah, 310. And then 405. All right, well, now that I see what we put in there. Remember, we put in 50. What did we put in there one more time? Let's just take a look at that fast. We put in 20 and 40 as our targets. Now, the Bitcoin futures, future trade in ticks, and one tick equals $5. So in this case, we're looking at 20 ticks. That'd be $100. 2 contracts would be $200. So that comes out right. The minimum price movement or tick size is 5 index points, equating to $5 per contract. All right, so now we, another way of actually just trading the futures on Bitcoin. It's much easier to put this together and have it really run. Now, this looks really good. I mean, 20, 40, you have to get used to how Bitcoin runs. The ranges, like I usually specialize on the ES, MES, NASDAQ. I don't do too much of the Bitcoin futures, but once you start to see and start to analyze it and see the price movement, you'll be able to, kind of figure that out and be able to adjust your parameters. Well, we'll leave that on here because this one's actually good. Goes right up here and stop loss catches it too. So this is the MBT August contract. That's the 1 minute time frame. This one didn't get high enough. Very close to popping here though. Same thing here. Sometimes you don't get the rotation. But those are the ones you have to know. If you get a signal here and it rotates fast up and you're underneath the 200 period moving average, underneath the 20 and under the 50, these are automatically going to be bear flags. So you either have to adjust your parameters to say, all right, I'm not going to look for 20 ticks. Maybe I want to look for 10 ticks if I'm in a downtrending market. you're going to take that off, especially if you get overbought on a 9-3 and you're holding. This is a textbook bear flag. So even though, you know, you might have a setup, a quad rotation, that can easily turn bearish. What defeats a divergence? Bull and bear flags. You hear me talk about that all the time. Let's see what's going on here. There we go. So when the market is down, be very careful on trading alongside triggers. And I would manually always try to take them off if you get that 9-3 rotation. In some cases you won't even get that, so the market will be very weak, and you should be able to see that. But with the quad, at least you're not getting too bad. I mean, you're getting little bounces. All right, so that's good. That's the MBT. So you had, and if you wanted to just put it on Bitcoin itself and watch that go. Sometimes I put it on the range chart. I'll just put it on the range chart on the MBT and just see what comes up. The 22 range. A lot of people, you can experiment with your own range levels. You do, 100, 20, 10. I see some people doing 10, getting great results with the 10. I just left it on 22. But look at this. Sometimes it's just amazing to see how these things pop so aggressively on a quad rotation. It works so good with the 22 range. These, there is something to be said about this 22 range. I like it. So feel free to experiment. If you find anything, please pass it on to me. I'm always looking to improve things. I'm not against, improving it with suggestions. But the core is there. I mean, the formula is great. This is a really nice one right now in the MBT. Again, 2050. So remember this video. It does have some good setups. And then again, you're in manual control. Remember, take profits. You get up here, you're underneath the 20. If you get a good setup, off to the 20. You should be taking it off in the 20. If you look back at this, every time it comes up to the 20, it rolls over. Why wouldn't you take it off again? Why wouldn't you take it off against the 50? Take it off into the 50. You are taking profits. It is catching you. It's giving you some upside. Don't have to think that this is going to go all the way. So in and out. Or else you could, when the market's moving up and these things are triggering, you're going to get nice big moves. All right, so that's it on this. Remember the tradeometer, the RockBot, I should say the RockBot scripts for the trading view and for the Ninja Trader, available to members of Day Trading Radio. Also, you can get them on patreon.com /Day Trading Radio. They're very affordable, $50 a month. Or they come with your premium membership at Day Trading Radio as a standard for any of the pro accounts. Take a look at we'll finish off here on the MES. All right, we're going to put the same Supersignal script. This time we're going to put it on the MES, just on the 1 minute time frame. And these are the parameters I'm going to use for overnight trading. 2 contracts, 6 ticks. First contract, 6 ticks. That's 1.5 points. Not a lot. All right, but it's going to be multiple contracts. So after first profit, after 6 ticks, 2 come off. There's still 3 on, and there's another profit above us at 10 ticks, which is 2.5 points. And if that gets hit, then there'll be 1 left. That'll be followed up by a trailing stop. Now our trailing stop is going to start at 6 ticks. So right at 6 ticks, when we first take the first profit, it'll trigger and it'll follow it up by 10 ticks. So it'll be actually, and I don't even have I actually have this on the 16 ticks. I don't have it on the signal bar low. I have it on ticks, 16 ticks. Trying to give it a little room to run. So that's what my parameters are now. Let's see what they do. Let's see what they look like. And we're going to run this. All right, and you can see that we actually, right at the close, we actually had a multiple levels here. So 23, 16. That's good. You know, I gave it 16 because I didn't want to get chopped up with a divergence low because it could get very choppy. That's actually pretty cool. Take profits 1, take profits 2 with a stop loss. That was good. Let's see here. Again, this is the 1 minute time frame using the Supersignal quad. And there's another nice, again, you'll see, this is kind of cool because you will see that we do have these downward channels that are playing into, that's what we're always looking for. You know, and from that point on, we're going to, you know, if we, you know, visually look for our setup, which is going to be down here, a quad rotation. In this case, it triggered also a divergence, and it was good to go. You know, it popped up here and it continued to pop 9 times out of 10. If you have a divergence super signal inside of a channel, 9 times out of 10, it will break out of the channel. That will be the low. That will be a new channel line. So that's always important in our channels, is when you have a new low, divergence low out of a downward channel, that tends to be the beginning, first pivot in an upward channel. All right, we'll just keep on going back and just kind of analyze these. Look at that, nice little bounce here. Actually, it was a little divergence here. Popped up here, then it kind of pulled back. Take profits 1, and then it pulled back, and then it pushed higher. Again, it just came just enough to get the trailing stop. Here, take profits 1, and then it kind of rolled over. But here's a low, and here's a lower low, big lower low down here. I recommend running this script on 1 minute, the 3 minute, and the 5 minute, because here, if you could actually see this, this is at 4 o'clock in the morning. This is a pretty nice, this is a 5 minute divergence. It's a low there and a low here. And where do you see a 5? You see the 5 down here. 60-10 represents our 5 minute time frame. But another way to maybe even see if this is a divergence or not, maybe we could qualify it, is by putting this on the 5 minute time frame and see if it identifies this as a divergence. So let's move this. Let's see what time this is. This is about 4 to 4:25. So between 4 and 4:25, that's the divergence. 4 and 4:25. And it's not going to pick them all up. It really depends on the slope and stuff. 4 and 4:25. All right, let's see. So now we're setting up the 5 minute time frame here. 5 minute time frame. To the 4 and 4. Let's go out. Here's 4. All right, maybe I have to activate it. Maybe you need to oh, it is activated. Let's see. Well, I was hoping it might identify that, but I don't see it. I don't really see any here. Oh, there it is. Well, there's a nice 5 minute too. Maybe it was this 4 o'clock I was looking at. There's a nice divergence. The 9-3. What time? What day is this? That is the textbook right there. 9-3 on the 5 minute. Now, what time? This is at 4 o'clock exactly. Let me switch back to the 1 minute time frame. I don't think we were at the right 4 o'clock. Or that was it. That might have been it. I mean, that was a 4 o'clock divergence here. Well, no, that wasn't it, probably. It's probably the 4 o'clock before. Hmm. 4 o'clock. All right, well, looks good. Use the couple other just little tips there. You have the 22 range you can run on this. Also, sometimes try the 1000 volume. I want to put it on a 1000 volume chart now. It won't give you too much overnight. It's not that type of volume, but that's like 1000 contracts before a candle is printed. So it's very going to be active in the day. And it's not going to be, but I tell you, I get some good, look at these. I get some good results off of these. So the 1000 volume, and I know a lot of people have been using that 10 range, the 10 range. This is nice, 1000 volume on the MES. I might run this week, next week too. It's like it's undefeated at this point. I just scrolled back. I don't see any stop outs yet. Just perfect. Just nothing but net on this. Nothing but net. And when I say nothing but net, it's catching the lows of all these setups. Now, how does that, it's just, I just nailed that formula. I nailed it. Little pullbacks. All right, just perfect. Perfect levels. Every single bounces. This I would have liked to caught that one, but that's fine. That wasn't one. That was good. That might have been the only stop loss, and that was very barely got a stop loss on that because that was a weird candle, I think. All right, we're gonna leave it at that. Day Trading Radio. We'll see you next week. If you have any questions, you can always email me at ironaction@yahoo.com. Give me some time to get back to your emails. I get loads of emails, and you can just leave messages on the video comments. I'll try to follow this one. Hope you enjoyed that.